Hey, good afternoon, everyone, right? Hope everyone is really safe and well today. And thank you for choosing to spend the next 45 minutes with me on the topic, how do you future-proof your workforce with Anywhere Workspace solution by Dell Technologies and also VMware. As introduced, my name is Sihan and I'm with Dell Technologies, right, managing the VMware business. In the next 45 minutes, I'll be sharing focus on four key things. Number one, the industry trend. What are the challenges the industry is facing, the solution that we from Dell Technologies and VMware can provide, and also lastly, the proof point to support the things that I'll be sharing. Let's look at the year of 2020, right? Actually, the year 2020 is a really an eventful year itself. It has impacted each and every one of us in this world. How do we really live? How do we interact with our friends, our colleagues and families, and the way how we even behave on our day-to-day activities? It goes the same for the business, not only on the human factor, but also on the business side. How they need to operate during this pandemic. Almost overnight, the world really shifted from working normally at office premises to work from home. This is all done and due to all the restrictions, lockdown imposed by respective government around the world. If you look at that, right, in fact, working from home concept is not really a new thing. It has been around for quite some time. And just because of this pandemic, it has accelerated the adoption. And since last year, organizations globally have already started to embrace this work from home concept to be more in depth. It's more acceptable now. They are more accepting that the employees can work remotely. And in fact, even employees themselves believe that it's really valuable for them to have a better work-life balance by working from home. Let me share with you a research that VMware did for the past 1 to 2 years. A study has shown that around 61% consider remote work is a prerequisite where no longer is a perk anymore. They believe that this is something, it's like a mandatory thing, okay? It's something that is normal for them to do that. And to be successful and to also be productive, over 90% of them feedback that they rely on their company to provide them certain technology and tools they need. Without these tools, without this technology, they're unable to work to be productive at home itself. And similarly, if you look at the mindset of the decision maker at any organization that we did a research on, they also shifted. The same research shows that 73% of them are looking for an integrated workforce solution, no longer a silo solution that they used to have, and they're making this a critical priority for them in the coming years to do it. Not 3 years, 5 years down the road, but immediate, right? They are going to use or plan the budget that they have for this year or next year to ensure that this integrated workforce solution is a critical and top of their priority. However, it's always easy to be said than being done, right? The question that you might have is, so how does this remote work, or we call it anywhere organization, anywhere workspace, can be done? How does it really looks like? If you look at the screen now, this is what we call anywhere organization looks like, where it do not have any defined perimeters. Employees can work anywhere they want, whether they are working at their home, they're working out from their home, not in office, and they're working on either both on their corporate own devices or personal devices. When you're talking about personal devices, this is actually making harder for the organization to pin down some policies. How do they do some management? How do they ensure some security in those devices? In addition to that, applications are becoming more and more diverse. And it's so difficult, it's getting more and more difficult to manage across the public and the private cloud of the cloud data centers itself. Because if you look at the screen, it doesn't have a defined parameters. In addition, what I just said also, right, it will also lead to many other questions. The questions come from different teams in organizations. They are facing different types of challenges and because they're using different types of products. And the common challenges when we speak with the people, they actually fall into four categories, where there's a security issue, where there's a support issue, the performance issue, and ultimately it's really talking about the user experience that they need to ensure the user are happy accessing the information or as happy accessing the using all the tools and technology that they provided. In fact, user experience is the most important factor. No matter what an organization does, user experience should be number one priority. This is because the user needs to be able to perform their job remotely with some ease of mind. They can do it easily and also with the flexibility that they have so that they can be successful. There shouldn't be much restrictions the way how they're going to operate their day-to-day operations. There were so many research out there. If you really go to Google, and do some searching, what are the challenges that users are facing? Okay, but do we really know what are they facing? Do we really understand what the challenges they are facing? Here's some feedback that we gathered through some research in the internet itself. If you look at that, 61% of the respondents, right, mentioned since the pandemic, they are having a huge challenge onboarding new employee. When they want to onboard a new employee, the traditionally do not work anymore. And with all these restrictions and the lockdowns happen, they are facing a big challenge or huge task. How do they onboard new employee into their organizations? 60% of them feedback that it's so taxing, right? To provide remote support to the end user. Whether I don't understand what they are talking or they don't understand what I'm talking, and I can't even visualize what happened on their system, on the system that they're using. 68% of the employee mentioned that the performance of the application are not good enough compared to when they were working at the premises. The other survey also shows that 96% of the correspondents prefer to work with any device that they want, rather than be only restricted to the corporate-owned devices when they are working, anywhere. They really want to have a free choice of devices when they are working out from the office. And 49% of them sees that internet bandwidth is an issue. And lastly, in order to beef up all the security level, a lot of security measures was put in place. And 47% of them feels that it negatively impact the productivity because of too much processes, too much kind of security measures have been put in at a silo level rather than one time off. Okay? If we were to categorize all the feedback from the correspondent, it actually falls into three main buckets: about fragmented security, about the suboptimal performance, and also how about operational complexity. Then the most important question we need to ask ourselves is, what does these three buckets really mean? The answer to that is very simple. In addition to the increased cost and risk for the company as the way how we operate today, this combination also impacts the employee in terms of engagement and productivity. Therefore, we need to ensure that whatever things that we are doing should not only consider, I repeat, should not only consider about the operation side in terms of some KPIs of the security measurements and so forth, but we need to ensure that the employees' engagement, the productivity of our employee are up to a certain level or KPI that we need to have. I'm pleased to introduce to you the VMware Anywhere Workspace solutions. The VMware Anywhere Workspace solutions are designed to meet all the needs of today's distributed workforce. The one that I just mentioned, all the challenges that we mentioned just now are being solved, will be able to solve and address by this VMware Anywhere Workspace. With VMware Anywhere Workspace, our goal is really to deliver 3 outcomes. The number one outcome is we want to ensure a very good employee experience by providing them their choice of device, by providing them the flexibility of working, and at the same time to ensure that they have a high quality experience. There's no point of us providing all these kind of choices of device, the flexibility of working, yet the quality of experience is not good. So the quality of experience is something that will be top of our objective to ensure that we have a very good employee experience. Number two is the way to change the way how we manage the traditional security measure by moving into zero trust security concept. Number three is how do we manage the outcome in order to automate the whole workspace. Because of all this has been happening around the world, you have so many tasks in your kind of organization that you need to do. There's no reason why you shouldn't automate all this. The least automation that you have, the more work you'll be doing, and this is going to create a non so good employee experience faced by your employee. If you look at that, VMware Anywhere Workspace really achieve all these outcomes by combining 3 key industry-leading products that we have. The number one is the VMware Workspace ONE. What does it do? It actually manages the endpoint devices. It provides them certain varieties of employee experience and application, or even desktop virtualization. The second one is a VMware Carbon Black solution, and this is not a normal traditional antivirus solution. It's actually a next generation antivirus solution where I will be speaking more in the later next slide. And the third one is VMware SASE, that it will brings out the zero trust security and the network performance management to the organizations. All these 3 products that I've just mentioned are the leaders of their own. If you were to go to Google and search for all this, they are actually top. They are part of the leader in this solution that they are addressing. But now we are combining all these 3. We are bringing all these 3 together with some integration that will create a very unique value proposition to you. Now let's look closely of these 3 main ideas and what they really do. One of the VMware Workspace ONE solution capability is to be able to provide application access to any device. When I talk about any device, it really ranges from PC, notebook, desktop, etc. The way how it works is exactly the same like how you use Google Play Store, Apple Store, where employee can easily access the catalog application that they wish to use by just go inside the catalog, click on it, even touch on it to install, and they can actually access it directly. All this uses the single sign-on technology that integrate with your Active Directories that already exist in your environment. Therefore, you don't have to set up a new kind of another types of login tools or login system for that. In addition to all these application and single sign-on, it also supports a rich range of experiences, including some remote onboarding that we heard in the earlier slide, right? Where more than 60% have challenges on getting the new employee on board in their organization. We also be able to do remote support using the same tool. The user can do some certain self-service from this VMware Workspace ONE, and you also can leverage this Workspace ONE to do some corporate communications, some chatbots, some workflows, and many more features and functions that you can have. All this can be customized to individual employee based by their so-called seniority, or even by departments, the roles, etc. All of them can have certain thing we call it the persona, to define the user category itself. Okay, just now I spoke about the remote onboarding. How does it help the remote onboarding? Today, with this Workspace ONE, you can actually use this Workspace ONE tool to offers the offer letter digitally to the end user, or sorry, to the new employee that you have, and they can do digital sign. You can send them all the information, the login credential, everything through Workspace One, and they can start to use it on day one when they officially start work, even though without going to the office to collect the devices or to get to know all the tools and to collect the system that they have. Now they can do it at their own devices, or you can ship to them a new device, right? All these capabilities can be leveraged by any organizations, regardless whether the system or the device that you are used is managed by your corporate or completely unmanaged by your organization. In this way, they have a flexibility for the users to choose what device they want to use. All the capabilities or the function and the features that I just mentioned can be accessed by any device. Let me repeat again. It can be accessed by any device, whether it's a user-owned device, whether it's a corporate-owned devices, or even like a purposely built devices for certain industry. This is not only limit to like a notebook or desktop, but it also can be supported on any mobile devices and even any IoT endpoints that the user wants to use. It also support all kind of platform, whether it's an Android, the Mac OS, it's a Windows, it's a Linux, or even Chrome. If you look at that, all these can be done and managed by a single console, single tool to manage different types of devices and different types of platform. Because of all the management tool, the processes, and the policies that are combined, we are also having a single tool to ensure that you can manage all these so that it is the work of the IT administrator. And all these are being done over the air. Means that when I talk over the air, it's through the internet, through the public cloud to be done, right? Besides the product that I just mentioned, like the Workspace One, we also have something that can help to deliver desktop virtualization through VMware Horizon for the employee. This is definitely very useful for those employees when they do not have a powerful machine at home, when they need to do remote access, and yet they still want to able to access certain high performance application. Therefore, this tool or this solution, this product will be able to cater for those remote access users where they can do a virtual desktop solution. One of the things that we really learned from since last year until today, is how challenging our network connectivity can be. It is because when everybody working from home, all the connection, whether it's a VPN or corporate VPN, the domestic internet service provider are all streamed, right? If you look at the whole way how the remote user work is, they will still need to access back to your own data center, and then from your data center go out to the so-called ISP itself and to get things done. This really strain the whole network system, and at the same time, you create a certain bottlenecks around the network flow itself. If we were to combine the SD-WAN solution and the SASE solution from VMware, it can really address all these needs. It does by actually providing easy access to all the software as a service applications. It will optimize it. It will automate the access to the cloud data centers. And the most important, it also can provide access to the on-premises enterprise application. By using the SD-WAN, it actually creates a dynamic multi-path optimization. And by combining these SASE services, now employees can avoid all the frustrating networking experience. You will have certain more like a direct access connection to certain services, like example like the Office 365, Salesforce, Zoom, all these, right? You don't need to go back to so-called your data center for access, but it can create like a dynamic multi-path, right, connection to the respective approved software as a service solutions that you have there. This would definitely help to reduce or to reduce the strained network that you have in your environment. We also provide all tools to the company, right, to manage certain employee experience. As I mentioned, right, employee experience is something that is going to be critical. But the question is, how do we measure it? How do we ensure that we are really delivering a positive experience? The Workspace One solution that I just mentioned has a tool inside or feature inside called the Intelligent Digital Employee Experience Management. This tool we can use to measure, we can use to analyze, we can use to remediate any application that has some issues or even the device performance issues that are impacting the experience. All these are being done, can be done from a single tool, the same single tool that you use to manage the devices, where you also can use this tool to ensure that you have a positive employee experience. Okay. If anything goes wrong, like I mentioned from the tool itself, right, and you need to troubleshoot a device, this is quite tough when the employees are remote because you cannot seek out the support in person, or the employee cannot seek out the support in person with IT. The Workspace One Assist can be able to provide a remote support across different types of devices, whether you're talking about notebook, whether you're using a mobile device, tablet, desktop, and so forth. It can manage, it can provide a remote support. IT admin just need to start a screen sharing sessions to help to fix an issue by providing some positive support experience. For some of the so-called unattended corporate devices, whether it's in retail, some is in manufacturing, some is in remote area, all this can be done with this Workspace One Assist. Workspace One Assist can actually take control of the device, even without anyone's present at the device itself, and to make sure that they can remediate the issue remotely. In a way, if let's say you have a device that have faulty issue and there's no one's there, the IT administrator can actually launch this Workspace One Assist and remotely log into the device to do all the remediation, fix the issue for them, even though without someone sitting there to do that. This is going to be very, very important kind of tool where the IT administrator can do all the fixing remotely without anyone physically present at the device. Okay, when I speak about security, VMware Carbon Black Cloud Solution is one of the leader in the industry for security. This is a software as a service solution. It actually provides what we call it the next generation antivirus solution, because it does endpoint detection, it does endpoint response, it does some advanced threat hunting, it also does the vulnerability management, and all this use or be managed from a single console itself. Beside all these traditional antivirus solution or all those kind of functions that I just mentioned, they also can do a bit more of like, can you control certain device control at the USB level? This is certainly very useful for those companies that really wanted to prevent or control certain usage of USB device on a corporate owned devices. And these two will definitely serve the purpose for them, right? If you look at that today, right, VMware Anywhere Workspace is the most comprehensive solutions out there today. And if you look at the whole portfolio of solutions that we have the most comprehensive zero trust solution in the industry, because it really spans not only at the device level, but it also spans from user to device to the network and to the workload. We can do all this. To share more of the proof points on whether the industry really need this, Dell Technology did another survey. And this survey was participated by 2,000 IT decision makers across different continents. And there were 4 types of survey questions given to them. The question number 1 is all about operating system. Are they using the modern OSs, and also are those devices being patched and updated frequently? The question number 2 that we have is about the device provisioning and configuration processes. Are all these being automated, or is it being done manually? The question number 3 is, how do they manage all these endpoint devices? Is it from a single console or multiple console? And the last question, the question number 4, is about security. Do they have the best breed of embedded security features in their devices, or how do they manage all the security? The result from the survey, we actually categorize it into 3 categories. The category 1 consists of the correspondent, where they only use maximum or adopt maximum 2 out of the 4 questions that we posted. The category 2 uses maximum 3 out of the 4 questions that we posted. The category 3 having all the 4 questions already implemented in their environment. Right? Interestingly, if you look at that, majority of the organization, that's 51%, fall in stage 1. That means they only implement 2 or less of the strategy that we posted in our questions. This surely shows that a lot of users at many organizations today are not being put in a position where they really can be successful. If you look at that, 34% in stage 2 and only 16% of the organization are in the stage 3. So when we talk about stage 3, these are the people that we categorize as a digital workplace accelerator, right? Where they really use all the 4 enabling technologies that I just mentioned in the 4 questions that are in place. Then we went furthermore into kind of a survey with all these stage 3 category, where we call it the digital workspace accelerator. They responded that by implementing all these 4 strategies, they actually achieved 6.4 times higher user satisfactions in their organizations. And because these organizations have reduced the time they needed to manage the devices like the traditional way, the employees have 2.3 times better feedback on the way they're working remotely. And the most eye-catching is this organization have significantly more likely to reduce the cost up to 42% via 2 consolidations, where they reduce all the tools they used to have into 1 or much fewer tools that is needed. You might have the questions now, right? You might have the question in your mind now saying, okay, all of these are VMware solution, but how can and what and how Dell Technologies can help you as a customer? If you look at that, we are working very, very closely with VMware at the engineering side to ensure that we deliver the best solution for you. We, from Dell Technologies itself, in fact, have a very unique feature called the factory provisioning solution, where we install everything at our Dell factory level and directly ship or send the system to your user. When the user receives the system, he or she can immediately boot it up, okay, input the credential, and then just choose what application he or she wants to install. It's exactly the same process how you set up your new mobile phone, right? Like you just power it on, you key in your Google or Apple credential, then it just install everything by itself, and then you can go to the Google Play Store, Apple Store to download or install additional application that you wish to have. I'm proud to say that we are the only vendor in the industry that offer this solution, okay? And this really helped to remove all the tasks from the IT department, and it saved a lot of time from IT personnel to manually deploy the devices. The survey or some testing that we have, right? In fact, when a user receives this so-called factory provisioning device from us, it only takes less than 20 minutes, average around 20 minutes for the user to set up the system by themselves, to be a ready state with all the corporate image, with all the credentials, with the security set up, and also for them to install all the necessary application that is being kind of predefined for the user category itself, right? This really helps a lot of employees in the market itself, because now the use or the IT department or IT administrator do not need to worry about or do not need to spend a lot of time to go and install all these system manually one by one. If you look at that, right, if you were to do the 1,000 device to be deployed, it will save up nearly up to a week of IT time, and you really can use this IT time, the week of this IT time that you save, to do more productive tasks that you can set to your IT administrator itself, right? Really, to sign off, right? No, VMware Anywhere Workspace helps all organizations in the world for 3 key things. Number 1 is about how do we improve, okay, the employee satisfaction, employee experience by engaging with your employees more, not engaging physically, but engaging in this the tools that we use to them. The second one is about how do we make sure that your security level are being broadened effectively, and make sure that it's not only securing your devices, but at the data side and also at the application side. Whenever they need to have the visibility to use the applications, the data with high confidence that these are all secure. And lastly, right, it's really help you to reduce a lot of operational overhead. This is definitely going to be key, because it will help to drive the IT to focus on driving business outcome and innovation, rather than use to manage all the tickets, the tools, and also silo operation that they have. This will definitely make the organization more productive, okay, and make sure the IT departments really can drive more on the business innovations, rather than keeping the lights on itself. Okay, I hope that this session really have benefit you in terms of understanding how the Anywhere Workspace solution from both Dell and VMware technologies have. If you'd like to know more in depth of to have more in-depth discussions, or even experience a demo or hands-on, please do not hesitate to reach out to any of Dell Technologies and VMware employees, right? We'll be more than happy to assist you. And with that, thanks again for your time. It's a pleasure to having this session with you. Once again, take care and stay safe.